I worked for Steve King at Zenith 13 years ago, 14 years ago, and I worked on the traditional arm. And I was part of a team that set up the very first digital operation of Zenith. And back in those days, the level of investment that we were seeing coming through digital was a rounding error in the broader scheme of things for Publicis as a network. 10 years ago, we were lucky to get on a plan, and if we did get on a plan, we were the very last item on that plan. Estimates are now putting predictions around the $200 billion to $210 billion mark for digital marketing by 2016. Now that's 40% of all advertising digital. Now, if a medium has that criticality to marketing communications, it's essential, I guess, to have a strategy around it. And I've been asked to talk about what's coming. Now this is another area in which I'm rather intimidated, because it's really, really tough to do this stuff, to really come with a granular level of insight as to what's coming next. So what I'm not going to do is try and foretell the future of digital marketing. What I am instead going to do is three things. They say that the best way to address a problem is to express a problem. I'm going to take a little twist on that and express what I believe is the DNA or characteristics of digital. I'm going to talk about the trends that we are seeing in the digital marketplace currently, and I'm going to talk about the strategic imperatives as a wrap to what I believe should be done about this. So, when I said it is hard to predict the future, does anyone know who made this statement, who basically challenged the theory that the atom could be split? Anyone? Fantastic. The smartest man in the world got it wrong. So I'm not even going to try. But let me turn the focus onto marketing, okay, and in particular technology. Does anyone know who said that? Everyone is always asking me when Apple will come out with a cell phone. My answer is probably never. No, not Steve Jobs. Okay, so I saw that the New York Times is one of their headline sponsors, I believe, so no offense if you're here. That was David Pogue. This was a journalist, the tech journalist, who's actually paid to get the scoops on what's happening in the technology space. Within a year, the iPhone was launched. You know, 250 million sold to date and more, I imagine, with the latest launches. And Android, Google's operating system, followed suit with over 1 billion activations to date. Does anyone know who said this? I'd shut Apple down and give the money back to the shareholders. Anyone? Fantastic. Michael Dell. So this is one of Apple's biggest competitors in the hardware space. He didn't see how Apple would both achieve success with the computer, but also how it would fragment its offering into other devices such as the iPod and iPhone. And there you see it, a company with approaching $500 billion in marketing in market cap. This was in response to being asked what the future for online video was. And this individual said, "There's just not that many videos that I want to watch." Any ideas? No? Okay. Showing my humility here as a company. That was Steve Chen, the co-founder of YouTube. And you know, with 1 billion users now globally, and I think it's, 6 billion hours of video now being consumed every month on that platform, I think he was wrong. And I like Roy Amara in terms of what he says about this. And what he alludes to here, where he says, we tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in the short run and underestimate the effect in the long run, is he's alluding to what I believe are the tectonic plates, that we see digital diffusing across the world that we live in, and having a more momentous impact, but in the longer term, as opposed to tomorrow we're all going to be in flying cars. So I talked about the profile of digital, and this is how I would capture it currently, and I'm sure there's things missing, but bear with me on this. Supersize at breakneck speed. 15 years ago, Google launched, and one of the measures that the industry has is how quick are these entities to achieve 100 million users. And we've seen Google achieve that. We then saw Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp. The speed to reaching 100 million is just increasing and increasing. They're getting there quicker. Mobile and multi-screen. I'm not too much of a geek, but I'm a bit of a geek. And I read about the developer world. And they're a fantastic area to get insight into what's next. And there's a group of developers who produce premium apps for the likes of tablets and phones. And they're called Platinum developers. And they were surveyed very, very recently. And 80% of them said that within 2 years, they'll be building apps, not just for phones, tablets, and PCs, but also for cars and televisions. And if they're thinking along those lines, you can imagine where we're heading here. And then when you talk about disruption by default, you imagine that the likes of Facebook and Google were conceived by a couple of guys or single guys and women in garages. You think that the likes of Amazon came along and completely turned the retail industry on its head. Expedia did the same for travel. It's going to keep on happening. Where engineers see challenges, they solve it with technology, and that is disruptive by default. And then when people start solving big problems and it shows returns, everyone rushes in. So where there's money to be made and there's opportunity, the place gets rapidly crowded. And Google, for example, is trying to simplify this whole thing by bringing unified stacks, for example, to add technology. Going forward, we're going to have, a tremendous amount of the world connected on digital devices. Tremendous amount. This stat is also one of my favorites, from Benedict Evans' Vendors Analysis. I don't know what his source was, but this is what he tweeted very recently. And if this doesn't tell you that digital is ingrained in the fabric of our everyday lives in terms of digital screens, I don't know what is. So in 2012, half a square foot of LCD screen was sold for every human being on Earth. It's a great business to be in. I'm not sure about the margins, but it's obviously a growth industry. And then if you look at the technology sector, I think it's fascinating to just appreciate not only the speed, but the dynamism of this marketplace. People who have their eye on the ball, and companies and brands that have their eye on the ball, are achieving tremendous success very, very quickly. And those that don't have their eye on the ball are seeing some incredible failures going on within their organizations. So you can see that eBay, that figure was $8 billion last year. They're going to do $20 billion in gross managed sales on mobile alone this year. Nokia has lost. This is somebody you could argue may not have had their eye on the ball, or they made the wrong decisions. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Nokia. But they've seen their market share drop from 40 to 5% in the space of just 3 years. Grand Theft Auto. You might have read about this, but I think this is an incredible stat. When we talk about big box office hits for the movie business, they talk around $200 billion is the kind of the mark where it's classified as a big box office hit. This is a console game that did 5 times that in just 3 days. And this will go on to do at least $2 billion in sales come the end of October. And then one of my favorite little stats there I'll just end on is L'Oreal. This is how the consumer has changed. I think it was their CMO quoted this very, very recently. The L'Oreal CMO said they get 200,000 calls a year. They're now seeing L'Oreal-related tweets, mentions on Facebook, G+, YouTube, that number 250,000 a day. That kind of scale throws up a huge amount of challenges for brands. So here is where I begin, and I'll try and be relatively quick on this. The observations on the future of marketing. Technology will be the backbone of marketing. A couple of weeks ago, I was at a presentation called ATS, which is basically the Ad Trading Summit. And it's all about technology and programmatic buying. In plain English, this is where machines do what humans used to do in advertising. This is buying advertising, planning advertising, serving the right kind of ad to the right consumer. And they started the day by talking about themselves as being really niche. And they were a single-digit kind of entrant within the whole spectrum of digital marketing. And I got on stage and I said, I think you're wrong. Because the one thing you're excluding from this classification is search marketing. This weekend, hundreds of millions of dollars will be spent on search marketing with Google by advertisers and agencies. Super science levels of device targeting, targeting against territories, consumer profiles, all automated, all on autopilot. Not a single person touching any of the interfaces. Now, if that isn't programmatic, I don't know what is. So we're now seeing this is what Roy Amara's seepage, the kind of tectonic plate. Underneath our feet, digital marketing is already at least 60% programmatic, managed by a machine. This has tremendous implications for the world of marketing. The mindset and skill sets and tools used for search marketing are equally applicable for display and video. Secondly, digital marketing is not just about ads. It's about infrastructure, like websites. It's around platforms like ad serving and bid management. Sounds complicated, it really isn't. If you've got someone smart enough who can translate technology into business application, you're going to do well in this space. And if you look at that stat where CMOs will spend more on IT than their chief technical officers within a few years, that should send out a big message that this stuff matters. But what's really frightening is the final stat, which talks to this disconnect where only 90% of CMOs do not have the proximity and relationship to the people responsible for that infrastructure and those digital assets. That's a frightening stat. Tomorrow everything is a computer, but nothing looks like a computer. So 15 years ago, the principal means of accessing the internet was a computer or a PC or a Mac. Today, that's irrevocably changed. There's a fantastic stat from the head of innovation at General Electric who says that within just 10 years, there will be 50 billion devices or machines connected to the internet. 50 billion. It becomes everything, essentially. And this lady here is wearing Google Glass, which is an experiment that we're currently doing, which is about wearable technology. Whether it's a success or not, we don't know. We're trying it out. But it's gone beyond this PC world. It's gone beyond this Mac world. We're now seeing well over a third of Google search queries, for example, coming from non-desktop. We're seeing that tablets for this quarter, for the first time, will overtake PC sales, desktop sales. And just in July, YouTube ads actually became TV ads. This is another Roy Amara tectonic plate movement. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but we launched a little dongle called Chromecast, which costs just $35, plugs in to any LCD TV, anyone up to 8 years old, and it immediately screens whatever you've got on your phone in terms of YouTube or even Netflix straight onto your television. $35. So all of those ads that the agencies and marketers were buying on YouTube that were appearing on mobile phones, on desktops, are actually also now appearing on televisions. Data mastery is a business imperative. There's a lot of talk around big data, which isn't a word I kind of gravitate to. Because I think it's somewhat reductive in that it simplifies the challenge here. With all of these connected devices and that 50 billion apparently that will come in within 10 years, it's not just about big data. I'd actually classify it as three V's around data. One is volume, of course. So if you have Amazon, the Googles, the WPPs, the Publicists, they're going to be processing a lot of data. The scale of it is, in effect, a problem. But secondly, there's velocity. The speed at which you need to be able to process that data and deliver the right information, whether it's to your customers or, for example, like Google, to our users. The latency of that data going through the system and the delivery of your messaging or on Amazon, your products, is critical. Thirdly is the variety. Walmart processes over 1 million transactions per hour, all of that fed into a central database. Some of it structured, some of it unstructured. That's an immense challenge. It's a gold mine, however. The best way to express the gold mine, I guess, is best left to someone who's far smarter than me. This is Hal Varian, Google chief economist, and I just love this way he captured it. He said the ability to take data, to be able to understand it, to process it, to extract value from it, to visualize it, to communicate it, that's going to be a hugely important skill in the next decades. I don't know how many people would argue with that, but I'm not one of them. Does anyone know who Andrew Pohl is? No? Okay. So Andrew Poll, and this is a Forbes article I read quite recently. Andrew Poll is kind of like a data scientist. I might get that description wrong, but he was hired by Target, a big US retailer, to bring a more scientific approach to their usage of their data and how they extracted value from it. And there was a fantastic story in Forbes, and I urge you to just Google that, Andrew Poll Target, and read this. What happened is this. A store manager in Target was going about his daily business when he got a call in his office that there was an irate customer at the door of their thing and demanding to see him. So he goes outside and there's a red-faced, very, very angry-looking guy standing there. And he says, "Hello, sir, how can I help you? What's the problem?" This guy said, "How dare you? How dare you?" And I'm sure he used a few expletives too. And the guy said, "So I'm sorry, what's the problem?" He said, "Your company has been sending discount vouchers to my teenage daughter for stretch mark cream and discounting for diapers. My daughter is not pregnant. How dare you?" Right? So the guy said, "Look, I apologize," and whatever means he took to kind of pacify him, he played them out and maybe gave him some discount vouchers, I don't know. 2 weeks later, the same guy came back in and asked for the manager again, and he was like, "Oh God," putting on the Kevlar vest, I guess. And turns out the guy said, "I want to apologize to you. My daughter is pregnant." And I guess it's the way that they were able to take the data of his daughter's consumption behavior and marry that to insights around her life stage and what she was after. So they could see she was buying products that related to pregnancy. I thought it was just a fantastic, it's well worth a read. However, you see this gold mine, but there's a very, very big problem here. Big opportunity, right? 90% of CMOs don't think they're able to leverage all of this data effectively. That's scary. And the big shame is that if you do leverage it effectively, you're going to extract incredible value from it. This one for the retail sector sees a 60% increase in margin as a consequence of the effective usage of data. And then it gets worse. Sorry, I keep flipping from good, bad. EMC have estimated that over the next 5 years, there's going to be a profound shortage of the people with the skills to do this effectively. McKinsey alone cited 200,000 being short in the US within 3 years. The mainstream is no longer the mainstream. So online video, and I'm going to use YouTube because for 3 reasons. One, it's got 1 billion users. 2, 100 hours of content is being uploaded to YouTube every minute of the day, 100 hours. Thirdly, it's the world's 2nd largest search engine. And I think that the access to this platform is changing the world of marketing. And I'll show you why. So Adam, if you wouldn't mind just rolling this. If I could say, this is Covent Garden, London. Can anyone name the celebrity that's being mobbed here? It's about 2,500 young women who've turned up to mob this celebrity at a signing. Any ideas? Justin Bieber, no? That's her there. So someone loves her. Thanks, Adam. If you could stop it, thank you. So that lady is Tanya Burr. Exactly. You've never heard of her. Right? You've never heard of her, have you? Right? She's got nearly 1.5 million subscribers to her YouTube channel. She's a former makeup counter assistant. I think it was at Selfridges, I might be wrong. She then flipped over and started producing content on makeup tips on YouTube, had her own channel, high quality content. Right? She's now got over 72 million video views to date. Now, the point I'm making here is the access to video is changing the game. There are individuals, and there are many hundreds of them, and it's not just about the world of teenagers or young women or young men. This traverses all demographics. People are making content for this audience, and they are making it and achieving audiences of incredible scale that would absolutely trounce the traditional media vehicles that brands use to engage with those audiences. It's time that brands caught up with this consumer and got a little bit more familiar with brands like Tanya Burr. Now, has anyone here in the audience ever had a bad experience with a car salesperson? Anyone? All right, you might enjoy this then. This is a Pepsi Max ad that appeared on YouTube around February of this year. And just to give a quick thing before I ask Adam to play it, the driver being disguised and playing the kind of dittery old man is actually a guy called Jeff Gordon, who's a stunt-cum-race driver, so an absolute expert in cars. So I'll let the ad just do justice to it. If you could play it, please, Adam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nice and easy. Just head on out and whenever you're ready.
Are you ready to go ahead and, and drive? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Oh. Whoa.
That's all right.
Oh, a little more than I'm used to.
Yeah. It's got some power, so just get a feel for it. Okay. Okay, all right. Ease off just a little bit. Ease off.
So I was thinking a little more age on me, some wrinkles, a little dorky, maybe some facial hair. It was somebody that I can pull off a fun prank with. Let's go have some fun. My good friends at Pepsi Max have hooked us up with this cool cam. So these are the glasses cam to show you everything that I see.
How you doing?
Hello. I'm Mike.
Steve, nice to meet you, Mike. I saw you sort of gravitated towards the Camaro. You thinking about getting one?
Oh, no. This way too much car for me.
Well, it's a lot of power, but they designed it to be very safe.
I don't know if I can handle it. I've never driven anything like this before.
Well, I tell you what, I think a way to really make you feel comfortable would be to put you behind the wheel.
You're good.
What are you driving now?
Oh, just a minivan.
Oh, yeah.
What am I
You're not
signing
obligated.
here?
You're not,
sure?
it's just a checkout sheet for a test drive. You're not obligated to anything. It's just so we know who's out. Let's go give it a drive.
I'm getting a little nervous.
No, I'll be right there beside you. There are your keys, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
You'll have to unlock it, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. What a car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we better buckle up.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. Power door locks. Standard, of course.
You are liable for any damages to the vehicle, so please stop the car, or at least slow down. Slow down. Slow down. You can't go through that gate, Mike. Stop! Stop! I'm gonna get you. Stop! Watch it! Watch out! You're gonna wreck this car, and you're liable for it if you wreck it. Mike, stop the car! Stop the car right now! Not up here! No, oh my God! Just take us back. Oh, no,
You all right over there, Steve?
Oh, you're an idiot. I'm going to kill you. Oh, stop. Oh, God almighty. Oh, right down.
Woo! Yeah!
Who the f*** do you think you are?
What do you mean?
I'm calling the cops.
No, you don't understand. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. No, it's just a prank. We're just having fun. Look, this is a camera. Here's a camera. There's cameras. Look, it was all just fun. Look, I'm Jeff Gordon. Sorry, man. Sorry.
Wanna do it again?
Yeah, let's do it again.
All right, so fantastic ad, 40 million views and counting. They supported both just uploading that to YouTube with a lot of paid activity on YouTube. The most interesting thing is it's almost 4 minutes long. Try doing that on TV. It's not economically viable. And we've seen other brands doing that very recently. Unilever with Dove has done a similar thing, 3 minute long Dove sketches. They produced a video that's now racking up over 150 million views. They localized it, i.e. translated it in 25 languages and had it on 45 different YouTube channels. That changes the game. So to talk about Tanya Burr, embrace the new branding arenas. You need to get familiar with these new channels and abilities to engage with an audience. You need to understand that 30 seconds doesn't exist anymore. If people love your advertising, create for it. And then consumers want to find your brand's content. One of our fastest rising categories on YouTube, and as befits something that's now the second largest search engine, is the how-to side. People are searching. There's a fantastic example. I think it was L'Oreal. They used a tool we have called YouTube Insights that shows trending topics within a certain category. And they saw that there was a hairstyle, and I think it's nails, called ombre, which is a two-tone hair. They saw ramping queries on YouTube for that, coming from Asia and then seeping across the West and into the US. And they created video content of how-to and style guides around that. That's what forward-thinking brands are doing right now on this platform. Tomorrow's competitors look nothing like yesterday's foe. I think it's really profound. I saw Eric talking about the fuel band, and you can just pick out just 3 brands here to show how the chess pieces are so much bigger now than the kind of historical board. Tesco, if anyone's familiar with it, non-UK, it's a grocer. It's now making tablets and doing online movies. Nike, as you saw, is making wearable technology. Amazon started off selling books. Now Amazon, as I only noticed when I stuck that logo on it, it's A to Z within its logo now. It sells everything. There's very little it doesn't sell apart from, I guess, houses and cars. They make now the Kindle, which is a tablet. They also do online movies, and they're in the ad business. Your competitors are morphing, and if you take it down to the marketing arena, the same thing is happening. These are 3 players who've entered the world of marketing and use different weaponry to all of you. Okay? Adobe, a software maker, acquired one of the biggest agencies in digital marketing, Efficient Frontier. Amazon now has its own advertising offering that some people would argue right now is bigger than Twitter's. And Salesforce bought Buddy Media. Salesforce, was a sales activity tracking tool, enterprise solution. They now bought Buddy Media, which monitors and enables kind of scalable approaches to social, Facebook, Google, Twitter, YouTube. But this is a tremendous opportunity for all of us. Marketing has never been closer to sales. Ads that appear within the digital spectrum can be linked, hardwired into actual business performance and revenue and sales. This shines a bigger light in terms of accountability, but it also makes you more valuable if you're delivering on your client's goals and your CEO's goals. And the point I would absolutely make right now is no one can do this on their own. It's absolutely essential that the tech companies like Google and Facebook partner with the brands and the agencies. We can't do this alone. And then finally, my final point is this, I really believe we're now at a stage where media is a global play. Historically, you've had, maybe 20 years ago, if you asked what is global, what's a global media owner? You'd have maybe cited News Corp, Bertelsmann, Time Warner. But they're a fragmented portfolio across all of these markets of different media, separate P&Ls, very hard, I imagine, to tie things up. It certainly was in my time. You've now got the likes of Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, DoubleClick. Google is the same in Finland as it is in London, right? It's the same in Tokyo. The user experience, the product, the features. This has huge implications for all of us. This enables single point entry into global markets using the same product, the same skill set, the same mindset. Highly efficient, highly effective. We're just seeing the murmurings now where this is starting to accelerate with some big brands and agencies thinking far more globally around media deployment. And that's going to be done. And so in summary, the imperatives I would call out is make technology the backbone of your marketing. It's not showing up very well on that screen. Win the moments that matter on every screen. Remember, we've gone from 1 to currently around 6 or 7. There's going to be many more going forward. Make data mastery a business imperative. It's absolutely critical to your success. Ensure your brand is winning in online video. Be the Pepsi, be the Dove. Don't be stuck in those media vehicles that are no longer relevant to your audiences. Partner to succeed, and make sure you win in this new global play. So a huge thank you. It's been an honor being here.